but I do want to thank you all for coming out here across the street from the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans. And as you know, this home represents a promise that we make to every young man or woman who signs up for military service. They agree to make great sacrifices for us and put their own lives on the line to serve our country. In return, we promise them the absolute best of quality care when their service ends. After returning from war-torn regions, sometimes after losing a limb or suffering traumatic brain injury, many of those veterans come here. Others come to the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans after they re-enter civilian life, seeking the best care possible as they live with significant disabilities, Alzheimer's, and other serious conditions. No matter why they are here, they all have one thing in common. We made a promise to give them the highest standard of care we could. Sadly, that doesn't seem to be happening. Back in March, 144 caretakers were laid off from this home. These state workers were replaced by a private contractor because some in the legislature thought this would save the state money. If it saved any money, it has done so at the expense of our veterans. Since March, they've told us the conditions here have been getting worse. A few weeks ago, Representative Brinks and Representative Greimel and myself came to the home to see conditions for ourselves. We heard stories about veterans who weren't getting the kind of care they deserved. So we came for an unannounced visit and started to talk with anyone who wanted to talk to us. What we heard astounded us. One man, a quadriplegic veteran, told us that he had nearly been dropped twice in recent months by an untrained caretaker who didn't know how to transfer him to his chair. We heard from others that said they had to wait up in line for up to 90 minutes just to get their morning medication. Some told us they'd had 18 different caregivers in the past 3 months, and that many of them didn't know how to do their jobs. One flat out told us, the care sucks. Staff, the few who were brave enough to speak with us, relayed similar stories. One said that there were fewer caretakers per veteran now than there were when state workers held the jobs, but most staff said they were too scared to speak to us, even though we were probably their own elected officials in many cases. They were scared they'd be punished by senior staff. And I should point out, senior staffers did try to stop us from talking to veterans and caretakers. They alleged we were breaking privacy rules, even though Grand Rapids Home for Veterans Director Sarah Dunn later admitted that we were not. We can do better than this. In fact, we must do better than this, because our men and women who serve this country deserve no less. And here to say how we plan to deliver on our promise to veterans is Representative Winnie Brinks. Winnie?
Thank you, Representative Dillon, and thank you all for joining us here this morning. I think that we all acknowledge that the topic that we're talking about today is very important. I know that a lot of us are looking forward to the 4th of July next week, and it's a great time to take a moment to reflect on what makes our nation great. And one of the things that made America what it is today is the men and women like the ones who are living here. Their service is a gift to us, and in return, we need to do right by them. That's why Leader Greimel, who couldn't make it as you heard, and Representative Dillon and I are calling on the governor and the Michigan Department of Military and Veteran Affairs to open an investigation regarding the quality of care here at the home. We need to know how well we are taking care of our veterans and how the quality of care has changed in recent months. We need to know where we're falling down on the job, and we need to know what steps to take to fix it. We're also asking the Michigan Civil Service Commission to revisit their decision made on April 2 that allowed the privatization of the caretaker jobs here at the home. That decision was based solely on the cost of savings for the state. It didn't take into consideration the quality of care for the veterans who live here, and that is not the way that we should be making important decisions for our veterans. We need to rethink how we are honoring our promise to them after they have done so much to honor our country.